the SP1200, the blue light bulb, to the board, the engineer's hands, and the limited well of patience. Hallelujah to everybody say ho, amen to all the ladies say ow. Thank God for make money, money, make money, money, and bless every hand that was ever put in the air. In your name, we pray. Picture this. Underneath the margins, your words can breathe. Got your listeners tilting isosceles the way you holding volcanic quills, spitting decrees. Better believe it flows like these. You got gills, screaming at daffodils or dreaming in mandrills, derivative of skills. You're built in the workshop, rocking with Ra. Cause in life, the woodshed don't stop. It don't stop. It don't stop. Don't stop. Some ideas, they shake you out of your sleep like when a toddler creeps. Totality of the deep, the mere thought of an unconscious manifestation carried out with the beat. Positive charged protons creating neural explosions. Time hiccups when fingers and pads touch. Dead air smiles because it knows what's coming. The countenance of the clock claps hands. The choreography of the knot slaps jams. And you be like, who made this? Vertebrae responding to the call so bad they make a B-girl curve the wall.
What's going on, family? It's yours truly, Mazi Mutafa, here in the afternoon. We never do this, but we decided we wanted to try something different just because we've had such a good response to people tuning in to the Alternative Winter Break Media Arts Edition. We have 2 more interviews to go, tomorrow with Jatai Lindsay, and then Monday with Yasmin Bobo. I'm happy today to be here with one of the newest members of the WBL family, which is the new Academy Manager. That will be Serena Lewis. Serena comes to us by way of a whole bunch of different places, but I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to bring her onto the stage and let her introduce herself. What's going on, Serena?
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm well.
Thank you so much for making time for this call. I know it's the middle of the day on a Thursday. We just want to try something different. You know, we've been doing all this nighttime broadcasting, but let's see all these people who might be at work or might be at lunch, who might want to tune in to learn more about the work that we're doing through Words, Beats, and Life.
Yeah, let's hope. I think people are on lunch break tuning in, so we're good.
No doubt. And if they're at work, just keep looking over your shoulder to make sure nobody catch you.
Right.
So we wanted to do this conversation not just because you're the newest member of the leadership team, but because we're kicking off our winter/spring academy in the beginning of February. And we just wanted to do some just kind of conversation about who we are and what we're doing for people that might have young people in their lives that are interested in being a part of our program. For those that don't know, we're looking for young people ages 13 to 22 who are interested in the elements of hip hop. So that's DJing, graffiti, breaking, emceeing, hip hop dance, photography. We're hip hop and hip hop adjacent arts elements. And so there's 12 classes. We've got arts and activism. We've got the business of music class. So a bunch of new classes, a bunch of new teachers, a lot of great things going on. And so I'm curious, just because we do so much talking about the work. So who are you, Serena? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I am born and raised on Long Island, New York. I grew up in the same town my dad grew up in the same house he grew up in. So a lot of my roots and family are within that area. They're also a little spread out within Long Island and other parts of New York, but North Babylon, which is a town on Long Island, is my hometown. And then I lived in Brooklyn for the last few years up until quarantine, which is kind of what brought me here to the DMV area. And now I've relocated here.
Dope. I know that you have some management experience in the past in terms of dealing with teams and systems. But this is your first time being in a leadership role in an arts organization. And I wonder, can we talk a little bit about your educational experience?
Yeah.
And even undergraduate experience, kind of the things you've done as a leader?
Yep. So I went to the Pennsylvania State University, Penn State, And I don't know how I chose that school. It kind of chose me. Didn't see it until I was already at freshman orientation. And it was a huge school. And I was going there saying, hey, after this, I'm going to law school. I had this whole plan. And while I was at Penn State, I did a lot of work with the NAACP there, Black Caucus. I was also working with some other student leaders that I see my best friend said something. I actually met her at freshman orientation. We were the only two brown girls in the room. So that's how we became friends. And we have been best friends ever since. But yeah, so I really had to find a sense of community at Penn State because there are just not a lot of brown faces. It also led me to become a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. All these ways of finding people that look like me, trying to do some of the same things, and help build community in a space where there wasn't so much space for brown people. And then from there, I went to law school in Michigan, really cold, even colder than Penn State, which I didn't think was possible. And then I found my way back to New York and was working within the healthcare field, doing some work there.
No doubt. I'm curious, did you, the beautiful thing about this interview is that I didn't do all of my pre-work, which was to ask you, did you know Toby Jenkins?
Yes, I know Toby and I know Tony Keith. Yep.
It seems like you've got a couple of fans.
Yeah. I have a really amazing, strong support system between my family. They're all my family, but my immediate family, like my dad and my aunts, I think they're probably tuning in. My dad said he was barricading himself in his office so nobody bothered him so he could focus. He's definitely my number one fan. Even if he doesn't get what I'm trying to do, he's like, yes, do it. You're great. And then that's one of my other best friends. He went to Clark Atlanta University. And then my other two best friends, they're just all my family, and they've been such a great support.
Well, that's what's up. This beyond your resume and your experience, I mean, the fact that you brought up Tony Keith in your interview let me know you probably knew Toby. Toby was one of my mentors in undergrad. She was one of the people that encouraged me to run. Well, your friends are blowing up in the comments section. She was one of the people that encouraged me to run for BSU president. Which I did 3 times and I didn't win till the 3rd time. So I know what it's like to be a student leader trying to make space for students of color in particular, but also knowing how your service extends to benefit the larger community. It's part of the reason why I started Words, Beats, and Life, was recognizing that hip hop could be a bridge between communities, to allow people to see each other, to appreciate each other, and to build together. And so in a lot of ways, that's what the Academy was created to do, to create that space intentionally for mostly high school students who are in schools that have art programs in like pottery, and watercolor, and band, which are all fine things. My actual only critique with those things is that, because I actually participated in band in high school, I was in choir in elementary school, I did those pottery classes. No one ever told me how that could be a job. It was always just express yourself or replicate the thing that the teacher did. And it's like,
Yeah, that was my experience with art, definitely. And I think it's also part of what led me to not take it serious or to make it seem like it was just like a hobby. Because like I'm not artistic in the sense of like drawing or creating.
Pause.
I know you hear people say you're not artistic.
Because the reason why I have to pause on that is just because, and it's not to be rude if people are just tuning in, I'm not mansplaining you right now. I want to give you some encouragement, because I really think that when people say I'm not artistic, they don't necessarily recognize that they're separating themselves from a community that they're a part of. Like, I saw you yesterday. Your hair didn't quite look like that. So you styling. I see the outfit that's put together. That's a little bit of fashion. I'm sure you prepared food for yourself today. That's the culinary arts. I know you've copied some of my stuff. So you write. So all these things are part, and some of the stuff you write is imaginative. It is aspirational. So like this idea that people say, I'm not an artist, like, yes, you are. You're just not necessarily the kind of artist that the people who taught art told you that you were.
Right.
So I just want to be that person that affirms it. Yes, you are an artist. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, for sure. And I definitely agree with that. And that's actually part of what I mean is that I wasn't artistic in the sense of what they were telling me art was in school. So now meeting people like you and, being a part of organizations like Words, Beats, and Life and the Academy is amazing because it's letting people know that there's more than just one type of art form. Like I barely passed my art class in 6th grade. Only reason I passed because my childhood best friend was like, I'll do your project for you. Shout out to Amanda Isaac. Like, because I was failing miserably. Like I love to color, but I couldn't do exactly what they were telling me to do. And my teacher kept saying it was like crap, And so it just made me feel like I wasn't artistic. So, I did other things. I danced since the age of 3 all the way. Yeah, I mean, I did way other things, but to me, it was like that didn't make me an artist because nobody was explaining to me what being an artist was. And I think that's why it's really important, like things like, Words, Beats, and Life and the Academy are around so that people can actually understand like what you just said. Everybody's an artist in their own way. And, it's because we're not falling into a box that might deter you from even your own greatness within your own creativity.
And I think to build on that, it's also because we think that artists are also like professionals. So if it's not good enough for someone to buy or for someone to pay me to do it, I'm not that. Versus like, no, commerce is not the definition of your creativity. It's not the limitation of your imagination. And and I know that about you. So like, I'm so glad that you're here because not only do you bring that clarity of imagination, but you also bring that, practical, hey, where the invoices at, bruh? Yeah. And we need both.
My concerns coming in, I'm like, creatives are usually not organized, and I'm super organized. But it also made me be super valuable to you all because it's like, okay, she's annoying me by handing this in, but we need it. We're still an organization. We're still needing to function as, a business. So that's probably something my friends and family would say about me too. Is like, you're way too serious sometimes. So this is also helping me just be happier, be more joyful, and just have some fun along with work.
No doubt. So let's talk a little bit for people that, there's people who are watching right now who've literally been hearing about the Academy for the last 18 years, but actually never attended anything. Mm-hmm. Some of them have had their children come through things like our Poet Laureate program. Some of them might have children that have gone through our Like a Boss curriculum or been a part of our summer youth employment program. But again, because they're not all in it, they don't necessarily know what it is. And I know that we haven't done it yet, so you're still figuring that out as well. But like from your understanding, what is the Academy and what's the difference it's trying to make in the world?
Yeah, so my feeling on it and understanding is that the Academy is basically the education aspect of Words, Beats, and Life organization. So it's under Words, Beats, and Life, and it's all the classes. So the education aspect with, learning how to be a DJ, learning how to be an MC, working on poetry, dance, graffiti, art through activism. Those are just some of the classes that are at the Academy, and they're there to empower and teach the youth these skills so that they can be employable through the arts. Because generally, a lot of people don't feel like unless you're a painter or unless you're this, rapper or singer, you can't work within the arts. And that's just not true. There's other ways to be employable in the arts field, and the Academy is helping you do that. The main reason that the Academy exists is to empower the DMV youth and also to help build a sense of community and, just uplift the youth so that they have something to put their energy toward. Generally they're super passionate about whatever their craft is within the hip hop world. And it just helps them build, a professional aspect of it and really master their skills.
I'm going to tell you something right now, and the whole internet that's watching, that I've never said out loud before, which is that when we started the Academy, it was just about community. It was this idea that young people who might be their school's MC or their school's producer didn't have classes to go to be around other people like them. So we wanted to create kind of a magnet program that drew students from all over the city to come to that one place just to build community. Because to be honest, at first the young people we had were so young, I didn't think they could ever be good, like in the short term.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had these two students, Marte and Trayvon, who came every day for like a year and a half. Them Bamas was good. And so then that made us rethink like what's actually possible in terms of us teaching specific methods towards a particular set of outcomes. So like for the first year it was just community. Then we realized that with real investment and time and attention that the young people really could become dope artists. And I think that that's why we started off as like our number one outcome was skill set mastery. That's the thing that kids wanted to learn, how to do the thing. And then we talked about employability, how to make money using that thing. Those are our guiding principles at the beginning. But then we said that's not enough. So then we said, well, we come out of a college experience. We should be encouraging young people to want to go to college or to at least have a plan post high school, whether that's trade school or creating their own business or just getting a job, just having a plan. Because I know when I graduated from high school, the only reason I had a plan is because I had a high school sweetheart who had been accepted to the University of Maryland. And when we were seniors, she encouraged me to apply too, because I wasn't going to college because I hated high school. So like, why would I want to pay to live at high school? Which is what I thought college was. So then we realized we couldn't do everything as just the teaching artists. So we wanted to bring in other artists who'd be guests to build community. And what we decided was that if a young person had a skill, knew how to make money using that skill, knew the myriad of academic disciplines they could study, connected to that skill and had a community to support them, they could become the driving force behind what's possible for their life. We call that self-mastery. It's a combination of knowledge of self in hip hop and mastery and future in youth development terms. But the idea is that a young person isn't just, subject to the whim of fate, that they could actually make real the things that they imagine for themselves using their skills, their experience, and their relationships.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's also a huge part of post-secondary education period is that you literally get to do what you want, or you should, if you know what you want, because at 18, who really knows what they want to do? Right. A few people do, and that's awesome. But I think that's a big thing. And then also with, the academy having the college material coach to help educate and empower youth to either go to college, know what college is first, know where you can find somewhere to apply to a scholarship, figuring out what college is for you. But also if college isn't for you and you want to learn a trade or you want to go to some other type of post-secondary skill where you're building a professional, skill, then we can help you figure that out too, So I think that's awesome. That's like, it's not just like you're here in the academy, here are these classes you take while you're here and then like go beyond your life. Like, no, the kids normally stay, and they want to learn more and it really helps them develop as human beings and really enriches their lives.
What's great? This is more history you don't know, which is college material didn't start off as a program. It started off as a t-shirt campaign. We literally made t-shirts that said college material on them and gave them to our students to be like, yo, because we'd ask them, are you thinking about college? And they'd be like, nah, I'm not going to college. I don't even know nobody in college. And then I'd be like, so you don't know any of your teachers? Because all your teachers went to college, right? And they'd be like, oh, yeah.
Teachers aren't people to them. They're just teachers.
Exactly. And so the first step was just to get them to think that they were college material. We start them really young, and then we built a program around it. So we said, if I didn't have the support to be able to go to college in terms of the process, what would I need? And then we built that curriculum. We did it for a couple of years. It's been on hiatus for a couple of years, but I'm really excited. We now have our first actually head college material coach who's actually going to be recruiting volunteers. So if any of you are interested and Serena, please send her an email and be like, girl, I want to help them kids go to college. Or however it is you talk.
I have really dope friends that have really dope experiences. So I just know that they would be great for some of these young people. So I will be tapping y'all to help with that program.
The other thing I would say is that if you're a person watching right now who doesn't have children or does have kids, feel free to share this link, wblinc.org/jump in. It's the name of the campaign to try to get young people to jump into their experience of education virtually. So we're recruiting young people in the DMV to participate in classes. You can take a class one day a week, or you could take up to 6 classes, actually 8 classes per week, because One of the things that's going to be happening is that Like a Boss curriculum, which is arts management curriculum. I'm actually going to be leading that on Saturday. And then we've got a brand new curriculum called Walk It Like I Talk It, where I'm going to be teaching young people how to create walking tours of their neighborhoods centered around public art. It's something Words, Beats, and Life's been doing for almost 10 years, but I've never taught anybody how to do it. So we're going to be doing that, teaching young people how to create their own tourism businesses in Washington, D.C., centered around public art. We had our first staff meeting this week, and I wondered what was your impression of the people? I'm sure none of them are watching, so you can keep it all the way funky.
No, I mean, I'm usually pretty transparent, but to a fault. So, but I actually am really excited to work with all these dope individuals. Like, every teaching artist was so cool. Like, and I felt like I was geeking out, but I was trying to keep it together because, like, I have to be professional. But I'm like, oh my God, I want to know more about your work. And like, and then, you know, like, some of them, they just look cool, right? They just have this like cool demeanor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I am such a nerd next to y'all. But like, but they're really awesome. And it was really cool, like, getting to know them, getting to know what they bring to the table, what they're teaching, what they're working on, and just learning a lot. I feel like they're getting ready to challenge me a little bit in my abilities, and I'm all for that. So that's awesome, and I'm just really excited to have them and to have that even that sense of community. Because a big thing that I want to do as the Academy Manager is to make sure that the Academy feels like a family and that we have that sense of community so that we can support each other, not just with Academy business, with just Academy business, but everything, because the world sucks right now. Like, life is hard. And, you know, if you just don't feel like you have a sense of community, I want you to at least feel like you have it with your Words, Beats, and Life family. So that's really important to me. And that's why I really wanted all of the teachers to be there. You, our interns that we have with the Academy, also Terrell, who is our, you know, head coach, like, all of these people. So definitely excited to be working with everyone.
Yeah, we just got a shout out from one of my mentors, Mr. Kenny Carroll. He said he wants information about college material. He might be down to be a volunteer. Thanks so much, Mr. Carroll. His son was the 4th DC Youth Poet Laureate. I think it's either 3rd or the 4th, but he's a former poet laureate, an amazing poet in his father's own likeness. Kenny Sr. used to actually run a poetry program here in DC. So super glad that he's is at least interested in learning more about what we're doing and potentially being a part of it. I wonder, as we get ready to wrap up, because I know the Academy isn't your last stop. So the truth is, what is your own professional goal as it relates to doing work with young people?
Yeah, so I mean, to work in this space, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the arts, but I want to work within youth development and just let young people know that adults do believe in you. You know, we believe in you, we support you, and we encourage you, and you can be great. You know, some youth don't have that support, whether their parents are just not able to give it to them, or they don't, you know, have that type of relationship with their parents, and or guardians, whatever they are at life. And I just want to meet youth where they're at and be able to help uplift them and empower them to just unlock their greatness. So, you know, through the Academy, through the arts, that's really going to do that, you know. But I also want to encourage youth to have a plan for your future. You know, don't just be out here doing things that really aren't going to help you in the future. And that's in your daily actions. That's in your actions at school, even if you don't like school because it doesn't translate to you properly. It's just something we have to do. And then also, where do your interests really lie? What do you want to do with your life so that you have a plan and you can move with intention, so that you're not playing this game of catch up once you do get out of high school or even college and not know what you want to do. So long term, I really want to just be able to work in programs like this to really make sure that they are helping the youth know that they're amazing, that we hear them, we see them, and that they're just great and you can do anything. Like, I know that's so cliche, but you literally can do anything that you put your mind to. And all you need is some hard work. You know, if you pray to somebody, then, you know, some prayer, and then also, you know, just support. And a lot of times it's that adult encouragement. You know, your peers can encourage you, at school, but sometimes you need to know that adults think that what you're doing, is great. So that validation from someone that maybe you look up to. So I'd really just like to continue to work within the youth development field, wherever that may take me.
And one of the things that's been exciting for me, at least, in doing these alternative winter break media arts interviews, is learning how many people were inspired by older brothers or older sisters, cousins, and teachers. Teachers at a very early age, like in elementary school, were saying encouraging words to young people who wanted to explore their own creativity. I wonder for yourself, can you, because now you've revealed to the world that you've done some dancing, you did some visual art. Can you remember, like, what's your earliest memory of doing something creative?
Yeah, so I guess it would be so when I was born, I had this weird thing going on with my feet. So my grandma put me into ballet, and she had all these aspirations to want to be a ballerina, and I think those got projected onto me, but in a good way. So that was probably my first real introduction into arts. And then, after that, I come from a little bit of a musical family in the sense of everybody can sing type thing. And some people on bigger platforms than others. So, that was always a thing. But really, I've always, and I have to give this to my dad, is that my dad has always worked with the youth. He's been a football coach as long as I can remember, from high school to Little League. And now he runs all of Little League with on all of Long Island and New York. So I learned at a very young age how important supporting the youth was, and also that I had to share my dad with other kids, right? So and just always seeing my dad support youth in different ways. So that was really introduction into just wanting to, work with the youth and also support them, because I wasn't naive to my privilege growing up and how I had such a huge support system and how that's really carried me. Some of my other arts introductions were really through my best friend. She's my childhood best friend, Amanda. She's super musical. She still sings. She does Broadway. And she was like always playing the piano and always like playing the saxophone. I just thought it was so cool. And that really did encourage me to join band. And I wanted to, yes, Dad, you did provide roadmaps to success and encouragement. Yes, you did. He's commenting here. But, I just wanted to like be like her a little bit. So it made me join band and like play the flute, which I ended up quitting. But I did always sing in choir and stuff like that. So I realized that that might have been where I was musically. But yeah.
I gotta say, I know you just read it and was like, yeah, Dad. I love the fact that your father's tuned in, because to be transparent, I talk to my father every week to get advice about the work that we're doing. Not necessarily because he's run a youth development program. He actually works for the State University in New York. But he's got insights and this idea that we can lean on our elders. I remember one time I was walking outside the office and I was listening to these young boys talk to each other. And one of them was like maybe 16 or 17. And he was like, yeah, my father's trying to come back into my life, but I don't need him now. And I'm like, I wanted to be like, bro,
Not true.
now is the beginning of when you're going to really need your father's wisdom. So the fact that he wants to be a part of your life, and in our case, the fact that we've got caring adults who in some instances for almost the full 19-year history of Words Beats in Life have been investing in this city's young people, is a testament to the value of the work, to a testament to the value of building community. And like Kenny Carroll said, it was wise on our part to bring you in, but I'm glad that you also found us and applied. Because there's lots of places you could be contributing your time and talent. And so I recognize that we're fortunate to have you. As we get ready to wrap up, I wonder if there's any kind of message. I already threw your email back, and I'll throw it back up on the screen. We've got the information about where to sign up for an information session below. But if people want to contact you directly, what are the kinds of things that you've been finding parents asking you, especially things that might be confusing that you've had to clear up?
Yeah, so a lot of times there's a little bit of confusion on if I sign up at this jump in link, does that mean that I've applied to the academy? No, it doesn't. The jump in link is going to let us know that you're interested in learning more. And then there's another link. And once you figure out and you do the whole, enrollment, your child, you, whomever, whatever youth you're applying for is in the academy. We do not turn anyone away. So I just want to make that clear, because there's also been questions of, well, how do we know when we got in? When you submit the application, you are in. There is nothing more. We're not here to tell you if you're good enough to do this. There are people on all different levels in every single class, and the teaching artists are able to adjust to teach you. Also, age limit, the 13 to 22 is a recommendation, not a requirement. So if your child is 11 and they have good behavior and you know that they can apply themselves and focus and do what's being asked of them in the class, they are more than welcome to join. We just do not want to be a daycare, because we're trying to do a lot in this hour with each class. So we're not here to really work on behavioral issues. We are here to work with youth that are interested, passionate, and really want to put their best efforts forward to grow their skills. And then other than that, questions about like materials, because things are virtual, and we will send materials and equipment that we'll ask to be returned back so that the next round of students can use it. And that will happen later on within the session, once we know who's really, really going to keep showing up and really, really into what they're doing and going to keep showing up to class. I think those are the main ones that I've received. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I think for the people that are worried about being good, so one of the beauties of not being a university program is we're not going anyplace. And most young people, if they're young enough when they enroll, stay with us for between 4 and 7 years. So if you spend 7 years working on anything, you're going to get good. But the other thing is that you might also discover that this thing that you maybe have an interest in, that now that you have access to other opportunities, maybe instead of being an MC, maybe you actually want to be a DJ, or maybe you want to be a producer. And that's one of the real benefits to Words Beats in Life, is that we have all these different classes all in the same space. Like, we've been doing outreach to schools, and I've been really looking at the kinds of classes that are available in school. And the best schools that I've seen have things like fine art and pottery and maybe dance and band. Like 4 or 5 things. We've got I want to say we have 13 different classes, and there's levels to each of them. So you're going to get good at the things you actually commit yourself to getting good at.
Yeah.
And our teachers are patient. Nobody's new to this. And everybody, almost everybody is an active member of the hip hop community, meaning that they go out to perform at gigs or they create public art. And I'm saying I said almost everybody, because there's a couple people we've brought in who are from outside of hip hop, but are connected through the visuals or photography. So they're documenting that culture. They're engaging it, but they wouldn't necessarily describe themselves as hip hop. But almost everybody else, I think that they would.
I think just to share, this was a interesting. It wasn't really a question. It was more like a, hey, this is why I might not enroll my kid type thing. And it might be something that's real for other parents and guardians that are living the Zoom teaching life with their kids. She said that her child has Zoom anxiety, and I had never heard that. But when I think about it, it's probably real. Maybe you do get anxiety. So there was a concern that, well, if your classes are generally virtual right now, I think it's going to be too much for him. But my response to her was, this is actually a great gateway into helping him with that anxiety, because this isn't like his normal day at school. This is going to be interactive. This is going to be something cool. And if he's really interested and passionate about whatever skill he wants to learn, he's going to want to do it. So maybe it'll help alleviate some of the anxiety that he even has during school, because that anxiety, that Zoom anxiety with school, is probably linked to school and not the use of Zoom and the virtual part. So she heard me, and I did see that she actually signed her child up. So I'm interested to see how that goes. And if anybody else is struggling with that with their children, this could be a great way to show them that Zoom doesn't have to be boring and you can learn really cool things. So that too.
And I think along those lines, one thing we hadn't said yet is that some of the classes will have in-person options. So if you're a person that signs up for a graffiti class and you have time on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on when it's set up, we have a 90-foot long practice wall behind our building that has more than enough room for us to socially distance 5 to 10 young people outside painting. So there'll also be some activities. Our office is located at the St. Stephen's Church. So we actually have access to a huge sanctuary. And the church has a limit of 11 people. We plan to have no more than 5 people, including the teachers in the space, for teachers that agree to do it. It's not a requirement, it's an option. So there's also in-person opportunities for folks that are interested.
And Mazi's saying sanctuary, but I recently saw the space, and yes, it's a sanctuary, but it's literally a stage. Like it doesn't feel like you're like walking into a church, and it's literally a space that you can
So that's the second space. So we're in the community wing of a church, but there actually is a sanctuary on the other side of the building. I didn't take you on a tour of the whole space.
Yeah.
In that social distancing, but there's literally a sanctuary that can seat up to we did a poetry workshop for a Boy Scout troop from Sweden in there. We had 700 people at round tables, the largest poetry workshop we've ever done, with 12 teachers. So it's a huge space. And I'm saying we're going to use that space for 5 or 6. But then the secondary space you're talking about actually is an auditorium space that we also have access to for folks that are going to be in the emceeing or poetry to get an opportunity to perform on a stage by yourself. We're also doing photo shoots in that space with our organization's photographer. And we didn't even talk about the last thing, for people that want to really take art seriously. We've got a set of interns from all over the country that are going to be working with them to build portfolios. So we're going to be tracking their progress over time. So people that decide they want to go to an arts high school or an arts college, they're going to have a body of work to be able to submit that we will help them build.
Yeah. And it includes a artistic resume, a cover letter, all those quote unquote professional things that you need. We're going to help the youth develop so that they have it, so that they're leaving feeling like they can be employable once they reach that age. And yeah, our interns are super dope. They're from Virginia, originally from Detroit, but she's now in Maryland and Louisiana. And they're really excited. They all have some type of connection to hip hop. One is really into poetry. Another one is a dancer and an MC and a DJ. And then another is into beat production and more of the business aspect. So that's even cool too. And we hope to give them an enriching experience as well.
Hold up. Your hip hop program helping people go to college, build portfolios, build their skills in the arts, help them build a national network with their intern. Man, we tried to build the thing that any artist or even an aspiring artist, a potential artist, someone that just wants to be around creative people would want to do. So now all we need is just to grow our enrollment. So that's what this whole thing is about, is introducing our new leadership. So you can see that your children will be in the hands of someone who's dedicated to managing a program towards their development, that she's got a team of people that are going to be working with her to actually achieve some of the outcomes that we're working on. And so all we need is you. So you can either sign up for a jump-in orientation, which, to be honest, on the form it says pick a date. We're actually going to email you the orientation and then email you the application. Or you can just email Academy Manager at WBLinc.org. Both things are going to Serena because she's the boss.
Mazi played no games and threw me right in, y'all. So I will answer you. I have lots of information to share. I will always answer your questions. And if you know any youth that would love to be a part of it and you just want to get them more information, please reach out to us. We want to impact as many DMV youth lives and young adults as we can.
And the program's going to start on February the 2nd and end on May the 2nd. Then we're going to do a virtual performance at the end, so you all will be able to meet the students. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And Serena, thank you so much for getting your whole squad to tune in. I think the peak views was 15 on this joint. I see you.
They're ready to support us. So
in case you all missed the commercials in the beginning, so thanks so much, Serena. I'm going to take you off screen.
Cool. Bye, everyone.
And I'm just going to go and close this thing out by sharing some of the commercials in case you missed it at the very beginning to see some of our teachers in the classes that they're teaching. All right. My name's Mazi Mutafa. It's been great to be here with you. I hope you all enjoy, and tell a parent, tell a young person.
Let's take you on a time jump, virtual Zoom, bringing it back to Theodore's bedroom. These hands are passionately polysyllabic, putting the Jeopardy theme on swings. 10 dons giving predictions, balancing vibes like the sons and daughters of Ipwan. Ear to the ear to the underground, flicking off. Peppermint, fresh experiment, let's go. El Premier Elemento, you gotta take your time, press your fingers to the line. Red man, focus your mind. And once you do that, you're at the front of the combine. God bless the cipher, the rotation. God bless the beatboxer's lungs, amen for breath control, the smiles that pry open faces when flow goes unbroken, and the smoke. To stories you can see, to coming in on the one. Amen to that dream, that early morning conversation, the argument that birthed the idea, that unbelievable situation, the story that had to be told somehow.